Where we start is relationships. So, some of our ideas are very new, and some of our ideas are very old. And the idea of relationships with young people is one that's been around for a long time. But in our research and really looking deeply at what drove success for young people, particularly marginalized young people, it was connections, and typically connections to an adult. So, for example, if you ask a student, current student in high school, you can ask them two questions. Number one, do you feel connected to an adult in this school? And then number two, is there an adult in the school who cares about your future? And if the answer to both those questions are yes, you see a significantly more positive outcome on average for that kid. So we took a look at that, and so relationships is a little bit like motherhood and apple pie. Everybody talks about it, but we were very intentional from day one about building it into the structure of our school. Everything from how we hire to the professional development we do with our teachers to actually the schedule, how kids and adults are spending their time during the day in an effort to help nurture the development of those relationships. So that's the first pillar. We always say, everything that we do rests upon a foundation of deep relationships between and among adults and students in our school.
Sure. Yeah.
The second piece for us is this idea of personalization. And so, again, you can't get to personalization without relationships. You can't personalize an educational experience or really any experience unless you know someone. So again, the window into virtually everything we do is relationships. But that second piece of personalization, once we get to know our students, a few things. Number one, how do we allow them to pursue their passion? How do we allow them to explore different areas, fields of studies, disciplines, arts? To figure out where's that light switch for them that flicks on, where we're really trying again to sort of nurture this idea of kind of intrinsic motivation and kids doing work without even realizing they're working. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like learning. And so that's certainly a piece of personalization. And another piece of personalization is trying to meet kids where they are academically. So our students arrive into ninth grade reading at anywhere from a second grade level to an 11th grade level. And the idea that we would just put them into one classroom and sort of teach to kind of the 8th or 9th grade level, you're going to be leaving a lot of kids out. You're going to have a lot of kids that are going to be disengaged because the content's not challenging enough. You're going to have a lot of kids that's going to be very challenging or too challenging. So we employ a competency-based education system, which basically means that students progress towards credit, not based on seat time in a class, but based on demonstration of mastery. So we sort of took the Common Core standards and the Pennsylvania Common Core, disaggregated to some extent, and created very specific in student-facing language competencies and skills that students need to master in order to graduate. And so at any point in time, a student, and we're a one-to-one school, so a student can take out their laptop computer and see exactly where they are on their progression towards credit and ultimately towards graduation. So we want to personalize around passion, and we want to personalize around academic level. And then the third thing that we want to do is we want to create opportunities for students to gain and apply knowledge in a real world environment. And we do that in two ways. The first way we do it is we try and orient all of our classes, we call them studios, around a real world problem. So we call it problem-based learning. Some people also call it project-based learning. But we want students, we want